You have been working for a family. Let me see here. The Allen family. They live in. The Allen family lives in Boston. So you've been on a case in Boston, but you don't have any information. You do know that Allen, Marion Allen, was good friends with one Dr. Rupert Merriweather, who you had correspondence with. He has asked you to come see him because he believes that if you could help him, you'll find out what happened to Marion Allen and Laura. And you all have been summoned. I think you, through a professional connection with him, you also deliver sauce to Dr. Rupert Merriweather. Commonly, you are his nephew and know him personally. And so he asked you with urgency to come to St. Mary's Teaching Hospital in Arkham to be there for an appointment at Thursday at 1 o'clock. And that's where you all are now. You're outside of the hospital room. It is a sterile and clean environment. The lights are oppressive and bright, even though it's raining outside right now in Arkham. You all come in, and the doctor is outside the room, looking through some notes, looking very distressed and confused. What do you do? You all have already met.
What was your character's name?
Floyd Williams.
Oh, what is your character's name?
Tom Remus.
Tom Remus.
Tom Remus?
Floyd and Tom.
Floyd what?
Williams.
Alright. Arthur Shepard. So the hospital room is there. You can clearly see this is the one that has the number on it that the front desk has told you has Dr. Merriweather in it. The doctor who's attending Dr. Merriweather is clearly outside. Isn't paying attention to you right now, looks consternated and looking at notes, muttering to himself. What do you all do?
Doc, is he going to be all right?
Excuse me, are you a family of Dr. Merriweather?
Yeah, I'm his nephew. I came to check on my uncle. He looked like you might have some news for me.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Dr. Feber, and he reaches out his hand, shake. What's your name?
Name's Arthur.
Arthur, nice to meet you, Arthur. And your name's?
Floyd.
Floyd.
Tom.
Tom. I'm afraid that I have bad news, Arthur. Dr. Merriweather is not long for this world. We just can't seem to find what is causing it. I would swear that it's scarlet fever, but there's this weeping fluid that's coming out of the wounds. And why? There's something, an indication of an abrasion and blunt force, but he's not been in an accident. And it's getting worse.
Are you saying he was hit?
Well, that's just it, Mr. Arthur. It should be that he was hit, but Dr. Merriweather has been here for days.
And you're saying this happened while he was here?
Yes, and I can assure you that the room is secured. We never allow anyone in. He's not been harmed, and Dr. Merriweather is still awake, although not for long, I imagine. I think that if you're going to speak with him, you'll need to do so soon.
What else did you say? He was oozing?
Yes, there's some sort of fluid leaping out of his orifices, his tear ducts, and saliva, and something near the chest. It looks like a hemorrhage. but he has a coughing. I would imagine, as I said, it looks like scarlet fever, but we can't identify the fluid.
Well, I believe we have business to take care of. Don't go far and keep working on it.
I wouldn't imagine. I wouldn't dream to not. I know Dr. Merriweather. He's been a benefactor of the hospital for many years. Good man.
Is he awake?
Yes.
Let's go talk to your uncle.
All right. I tip my hat and head into the room.
Okay. When you go into the room, you can see that your uncle's there. He does look in terrible condition. His eyes have dark circles around him. He looks drawn and thin, the worst that you've ever seen him. Aged almost far beyond what his actual age. Rupert is in his 60s. His wife and child are there. His child now is in his. He's a little bit younger than you. He's in his 20s, and his wife Agnes is there. You've never met his son Bertrand before, but you've heard very bad things. You haven't seen Agnes since you were probably younger. You all have not met, except you have met Rupert himself, but very secretly in speakeasies where you've made the transfers for the juice.
What'd you say the son's name was again?
You haven't met him yet,
Oh.
but you know him to be Bertrand. You haven't met him, but you know of him, and he looks very strange. Rupert has slicked back hair, a stooped figure, and a more than portly build. And he's standing by a radio and tuning it. And he's like, "Oh, Dad, this is my favorite song." He's like tuning the radio, and Agnes is like, "Please, Bertrand, not now." And Agnes is just holding Rupert's hand, and Rupert sees you come in and is like, "Oh, Arthur, my boy, it's been years, probably since you got back.
It's good to see you, Uncle.
It's good to see you too."
Agnes, take the kid and leave the room for the moment. Wait for us in the hall. We have business to discuss.
Bertrand turns the radio up, and he's like, "This is so good." And Agnes is like, "Bertrand, come on, please." And Agnes is like, "It's good to see you again, Arthur.
As is you.
It's. I'm sorry. Have we met,
My name is Floyd.
Floyd?
Tom.
Tom, and you know Rupert somehow?"
Yes, Agnes, please. We don't have much time.
"I'm sorry, Arthur. Of course." Get a little misogyny
waiting.
from the 1920s, but he would totally go that way. "Of course, yes." "Bertrand, please." And Bertrand is like, "But I like this song," and he turns it up, and then she pulls him away from the radio, and
I walk over and I turn down the dial and I sit down beside the bed.
you turn it all the way down.
Just slightly, because you said the kid kept turning it up.
Yeah.
So I just turned it into a comfortable talking.
All right. Rupert says, it's good to see you again, Tom. Did you bring what I asked?"
Yes, sir. Put it on the nightstand next to him.
He shakily takes the lid off and he drinks it all the way down. And "Thanks, Tom."
Better than any medicine they got here.
"I'd say so. I think this will be the last run that you do for me, Tom. Arthur, do you remember those stories I used to tell you when you were a kid?"
I do.
"Oh, that's about how about all the knights and fairies and princesses, the monsters and the dragons and everything. Oh, we had a good time when you were a boy. It was an easier, simpler time before the war.
It was. The war changed a lot in the world.
Arthur, things have changed a lot. I never told you what happened when I was young. Me and some of my fellows, we went to school not far from here. Of course, you know I work here now. Some of those stories are real, Arthur. Me and my friends, we knew an older man at the time, Marion Allen. There were 6 of us. We purchased a farmhouse a bit east of here from Arkham, Ross's Corner it's called. We experimented with some things we found. Kept the place for privacy. I didn't expect what would happen. Did that. You see, one of the things in those stories are it's true. The one about the lurker. And the lurker was like a bedtime horror story. It's said to get in people's houses and then slowly eat them. Rupert told you like scary stories. Your mother hated it, but he did it.
Are you telling me you found the lurker?
Yes. It was long ago, Arthur. I lied to you. It wasn't a story about knights or people in the colonial times here in New England. No, it was me. Me, Marion Allen, 6 of us. We got that old shack east of here in Ross's Corner. We didn't think it would do what it did, Arthur. But we unleashed it on the world. And we never got rid of the thing. It's still there. We just left it there. We hoped it would stay confined to the house, but I've learned over the years that the spell that binds this thing, it depends on us being alive. Arthur, I'm the last one.
Uncle, why did you not come to us sooner? This is something we should have taken care of.
How could I tell you? Never mind that I tried. The letters I sent. But I know that you have seen horrible things since then. We all have. And who believes in child stories anymore? When I die, which is to be soon, this thing will go free. It likes to hurt people. My deepest sin in my life was to work with those young men and unleash that thing on the world. It will escape when I die. I know it. Can you hand me that from the nightstand? What's this thing on the nightstand?
Yeah, and I hand it to him.
Arthur.
I'm literally just checking to make sure that.
Arthur. Please.
Do I recognize the runes on the outside of the box?
No. He says, everything I can do to aid you is within. You must summon the courage to do the things that we talked about when you were young. See, this is done for me, please. And then before you open it, like, the very next thing that happens, all of a sudden, Rupert, that's my name. Rupert starts to, like, you see the color come out of his face, and the dark circles around his eyes start to grow, and it's almost like he's being asphyxiated, like he's turning like blue and purple.
Uncle, how do I kill it?
And then all of a sudden, like, you see like this thing growing on his chest, and he starts vomiting blood. And we go over the sanity mechanic. Your sanity, put it to the bottom of your wheel. You'll add that all of your scores together, and then double it. And everyone is taking 1 sanity.
Wait, what? We add our scores together and double it.
Yeah, so if you have like 2, 1, minus 1,
Okay.
you know, just add it together as a sum and then double the result. And that's going to be your sanity. And he vomits all over you, Floyd, like blood. This blood just covers you. And then he's laying there, and
So we all take
like
1
a
sanity
husk.
damage, right?
1 sanity damage, yeah.
I scream for a doctor.
The doctor runs into the room along with Agnes and Bertrand, and they,
I take the boxes before they come in and I slide it into my coat.
yeah, Agnes is like, "Oh God, Rupert!" And you see Bertrand like, "That's weird." And then the doctor runs over to the bedside and checks his pulse, and he's like, he's gone.
I go and get the kid and I start to take him out of the room because I don't want him to see his dad.
He's like, "But I want to see."
This is not for your eyes, son. Wait in the hall.
He's in his 20s.
Oh, I thought he was a child. My bad. Never mind. Don't do that. No. I thought he was like a 7-year-old. And I was like, I'm going to remove the kid from the situation.
Yeah.
I don't do that. No, he is more than welcome. He's a grown man. He can come see his dad.
Yeah.
He
And
said he was
there,
playing
like,
with the
covered
radio
blood,
and not
right?
listening to his mom. I thought it was a child, you know?
yeah, he's acting like a child. What did you say?
And I'm covered in blood, right?
You're covered in blood right now.
So it wasn't just like a little bit of blood?
Yeah, no, he
need a shower.
violently vomited up blood all over you.
I imagine
You
he's
have herpes.
I imagine he's currently like trying to, hold his constitution, like trying not to throw up as well, because like a sick man who's dying just vomited blood all over him. He's just like, oh,
Make a act under pressure check.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh
5.
no.
Those dice are going over.
You can either take another sanity point loss because you got covered in this stuff, or you can run out of the room and flee in horror.
I imagine I just go running out of the room, like trying to find at least a bathroom, try and wash all this blood off of me.
You run out of the room, and as you run, you're so wet with blood, the walls get streaked with your hands.
Oh gosh.
Smearing blood as you're screaming down the hall. Nurses like scream in terror as this bloody man runs down the hall.
Did hospitals have indoor plumbing at this time?
Plumbing, I'd say so, yes. Especially this hospital.
This is like a state-of-the-art hospital, isn't it?
Yeah, and you basically leave a terrifying
A wake of
smear
terror.
of blood all the way down the halls, all the way to the reception desk.
Bathroom.
Experience for that?
You
Yeah,
can get an experience. That's a good point. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. But you only lose 1 sanity. You don't lose 2.
So you're saying I flee and I lose sanity?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was giving you a choice.
I was like, well then what? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So because you flee, you did not lose sanity.
Oh, okay.
You lost just the same one everybody else.
Yeah.
lost.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you all do? Agnes is weeping over her husband. The doctor is asking Agnes. I'm sorry. You should leave. Everyone should leave, please.
I remove my hat. you know,
Yeah.
I'm
Doc.
gonna kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. What
I
were
was
you
just
saying?
gonna say I'm gonna kind of guide the mom and the son out of the room.
They get guided down a hallway smeared with blood and screams.
Well,
as they echo.
I'm gonna go the opposite direction that he ran.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. What do you all do now? You've got the Agnes there. You've got Bertram. You've got the doctor. Or you can go ahead and leave and examine the contents of the box.
Before I leave, he just walked out. I'm gonna take $1 out of my pocket and stick it in the jacket of the doctor and make the paper say he died peacefully.
I see. And then he walks away. A note about reading the documents. I realized that this adventure is going to involve a lot of reading.
Okay.
I think it will not work well if everyone has to read it. We would be doing that all day. So I think, why don't you read it? Because I've been, yeah.
I'm currently in the bathroom.
Well, actually, no. In this case, only, since you have the documents, you can read it. But what I'm going to do is read one document, and then we'll pause and we'll go back to the scene and we'll interact. Read a document and then we'll go back to the scene, so on and so forth. But you would need to narrate the document, kind of for all of us.
Okay. So after I walk back out of the room, I shut the door behind me, put my hat back on, look down the hall, see blood everywhere, and I just sigh. And I look the other way, Tom, meet me outside in 5. And I follow the blood trail to find
To find Floyd.
to find Floyd.
Okay.
So I get to the bathroom,
You
go in.
No, I would imagine you don't find a bathroom necessarily. This is what I'm imagining. Is ultimately it comes down to you running outside in the pouring rain on your knees, and you're out there, and you guys meet in Arkham outside the hospital in the pouring rain. Now, scene pause. Do you want to reveal any of that? And you can look at it first.
Okay.
But you can also hide this from everyone else and tell them something else if you want. Or you can share it with everybody. And I'll also answer your question about the rings.
While he's looking at that, I'm gonna check the camera.
Very first check, I failed it. Everyone pair of snake eyes.
Oh, nice. Snake eyes. I was going to reassure you that that's common, and it's nope, snake eyes.
Yeah, snake eyes.
It's going to go this way.
Yeah, that's why they're sitting over there now. It's I have a +3. As long as I roll a 4, I should be good. No, pair of snake eyes.
Yeah.
Off the bat.
This is really cool.
Screaming down the hall I go.
Is there anything that you would not want to share with everyone?
I don't think so. I think my goal right now is to find Floyd and Tom and recruit them to come deal with the situation.
All right, you found Floyd and Tom. Obviously, you guys get out of the rain. You get Floyd and recollect it and everything. And where do you all go? Do you go back into the hospital? Do you want to go to a coffee store or a diner, or do you want to do you have a meeting place you go to, or what would you like to do? It's nighttime, or early evening, and overcast and raining.
I feel like if I haven't read this yet, but with the situation, from what I know and the stories I've heard about the lurker, needs to be dealt with immediately because he just died. So we need to go to. You said it was on Ross's corner.
You're gonna go there right now.
Well, I want to get with these guys and look what's in the box.
Where do you do that?
Okay.
Say
After he hollers down the hall, for Tom to meet him outside.
You have the mother and son. You guys
Yeah,
have been-
I'm willing to find like a, I guess what would be the equivalent to a nurse's station,
Yeah.
and leave them there and have the nurses look after them, or ask that the nurses look after them until the room can be cleaned up, and then I'm gonna go and get the car and pull it around to the side where they're at, so we can get in out of the rain.
We can meet in the car.
Okay. You collect Floyd, and you guys meet in the Studebaker in the back, and Tom, you're driving, and where do you all go?
So
You
I
still
think
find
we're just
a
in the
quiet
car
place?
right now. We just got in the car at the end of the hospital. You're driving, right?
Mhm.
So I assume I'm shotgun, not to steal it. But and so I open up the box, and I'm reading this.
Yeah. So
And
go
we're in
ahead
the car. Y'all heard what he said back there. Either of you heard the stories of the lurker?
Fairy tales. I've never heard of. such
Never heard of a
thing.
lurker.
Well, it appears they aren't fairy tales. It appears it's reality.
No offense, man. I know he's your uncle and all, but I mean, could this been the senile ramblings of a dying man?
That wasn't natural death. There's no way that was natural.
Obviously.
I have to agree with Floyd here.
Tell you
Nothing
what,
about
I'll,
that seemed natural.
I'll drive you guys out to the house if you want to check it out.
I feel like I don't know. I don't know if either one of you are aware of what the Freemasons are in this universe, but they're a group of people that believe that that monsters could return to the world and the supernatural and things like that. And I am wearing a Freemason's ring, so I don't know if either one of you understand that or not. If this is true, and I believe it to be after what I've been taught and told and what we just saw in the hospital room, I think we have an obligation to the world to make sure that this doesn't get out.
So if I'm understanding right, the lurker did this to him, or did something else do that to him?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was going to ask him that before he,
Died.
you know.
How
Let me
would
read
you-
this to
Yeah.
you all.
Well, let me actually. Let's see. Don't let me forget that question.
Okay.
Let's pan the camera, and now you just narrate like you're reading. You know, like you can assume that if you share this, you pass it around later. But read it out loud. That way we can.
Okay. What is?
Just the first thing, the letter, and then we'll go into the other stuff later.
Okay. Dear friends, in the years after the nightmarish events of that night in my youth, I have seen many strange things. Only now do I begin to grasp the truth of reality and the scope of what is happening in the world. I've tried in my small way to combat the horrors and make amends for my part in bringing one to our plane of existence. What I have left to offer, what riches and wealth I have, I will put to good use in dealing with these abominations. It is the very least this old coward can do. I could never make myself go back to that little farmhouse and put those events to right. I too gravely feared that which my friends and I loss upon this court side. Nothing of consequence has yet taken place, but with my death I fear the bonds will be broken, and that horror free to come and go as it pleases. Lives not yet taken already, weigh heavy on my conscience. The method of delivering the thing out of this world is still in that accursed house. The translation made by Manner from the book De Vermin Mysteries. Am I saying that correctly? I was never strong enough to take on the task, but I have hope that you are, in ridding the world of this. Perhaps you will save my soul from hell, for I fear that my deeds have not been enough to release me from this heavy burden. I do not expect your forgiveness for what I ask of you.
And then you got some other things in the envelope.
I have a sales deed here for the Ross's Corner. This This is the building that he told us about. It appears it's mine now.
You asked if you recognize the runes on the box. You do not. Do you show everyone else the box?
You don't know what these say, do you?
Would I know what they say? I mean, I don't know what my character knows.
Give an investigate a mystery check.
You don't recognize them, do you?
That's sharp. 6.
Well, crap. And you're adding your sharp, right?
Yeah, I rolled a 4 and I got +2 sharp.
All right.
Experience?
You want to do the same, or
I can't imagine.
I wouldn't imagine that I would know.
No, and it wasn't so much for that. It was something else that I was going to say.
So, because I don't know them, do I get experience as well? Or
No, I was just
No.
he failed the check, so
Okay.
good experience. You haven't filled any other things yet.
I haven't rolled yet.
Um,
There's more in here.
We are off to a great start.
but like, so you can in character, yeah, you see this black object in there as well. But in character, you can assume, Arthur, that you've read those letters. But I want Tom to read the letters.
Tom.
Oh, go. You're Floyd.
Like the first two. Sorry, there's a lot of reading in this.
What is it?
It's probably meant to happen over.
You want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah, I reckon. Like 2 of them.
Okay.
The first 2.
Miriam Allen has acquired an artifact purportedly Egyptian. It appears to be a small box of. Inside a large piece of amber, which entraps a specimen of some unknown species of arthropod. Allen is very excited as the box corresponds to a description he found in an ordinary reference volume in the university's one library. Allen says that in another book, the Vermis Mysterious is an explanation of the powers of the box. The text says the small animal trapped in the amber is actually the host to a bond jinn, a guide to the spirit world. Allen says the tome mentions that originally there were 4 such pieces of amber contained in the box. There is no mention what happened to the other 3.
Is this the amber?
We are agreed, and a date has been set to conduct a ceremony intended to summon the jinn, which Allen assures us will be friendly. We have chosen the night of Saturday, 18th March, the night before the new moon. March 19th, 1877. We began.
This was 40 years ago.
He was a young
man.
Oh, and I forgot the date on the other one. It was January 27th of 1877. So we began the ceremony as Allen instructed, according to that description in the Vermis Mysterious. A fire is set in the fireplace and a pentagram chalked on the floor, marked with appropriate symbols and illuminated by 2 black tapers placed near the center, flanking the piece of amber with its entrapped spirit. The others sit in a circle while I, the designated watcher, who guards for malevolent spirits, sit in the corner of the room. At least I get the comfort of a chair, while the others can look forward to sitting on the floor for hours. Allen throws a handful of powder in the fire, producing an evil-smelling smoke and dampening the flames, which now burn a sputtering green and brown. Those seated on the floor begin the Latin chant Allen has transcribed from his book. After nearly 2 hours, I see a trail of smoke cycling up from the piece of amber. Its surface seems to be bubbling and melting. Can this be? Have we finally achieved success? I can see a form. March 20th, 1877. We have finished with our plans and have sworn a pact never to speak of what happened last night. We have satisfactorily explained the death of poor Robert, and in some manner the madness of Harold. The sheriff accepts the explanation of a carriage accident. We planned it well. Robert's neck was broken in the fall, we told him. Harold struck his head on a rock when the horse's leg broke and the carriage rolled. Would it be that it was only that? For the rest of us, we will be forever changed by what we experienced last night. I will write down the true events so they are not lost completely. The thing formed in the center of the pentagram, shapeless and nearly invisible. Its terrible voice should have given us a clue, but we were so foolish. It spoke, then Alan cast that damn powder on the gin, the dust of Ibn Ghazi, he calls it, and that's when we could all see it clearly. Words cannot adequately describe the faceless thing with 1,000 maws. It roiled and bubbled, never fully revealing itself at any one time. So terrifying was its aspect that I was frozen in place, my pen falling from my nerveless fingers. Cecil and Alan seemed as lifeless as myself, while a short, sharp cry issued from Crawford's mouth. Robert, however, rose to his feet, and before anyone could stop him, stepped forward as though to embrace our horrible guest. With its arms, or those appendages that seemed most like arms, it took hold of poor Robert and twisted his head around as though he was a doll. The lifeless corpse was then thrown back in Harold's lap, and that's when he began that damnable shrieking. A shrieking that hasn't stopped since, even after we handed him over to the sheriff's men. We still had a chance, apparently. Alan now believes that if we had kept our wits, we could have reversed the summoning and forced the creature back to wherever it came from. But Crawford panicked and mistakenly believed that it would dispel the creature, reached forward and destroyed part of the pentagram, breaking the seal and ending its effectiveness. Released from its binding symbol, the thing, with a screech that could only have been unholy satisfaction, was ejected from the house, disappearing out the window as a roaring, screaming wind of boiling colors.
Alright, for the next two letters, we could do Floyd. Floyd, another detail that I didn't give you for your investigation. The family wants to find, they want to find Marion Allen's personal effects and what happened.
Okay, we don't know what happened to them. Actually, Alan died after his head got spun around. That's how Alan died, right? Or was that someone else that died that way?
Robert.
Oh, that was Robert.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez. I'll wait till he gets back before I read this. So maybe it was that Jinn that went after Rupert. Because it was freed.
Yeah.
Crawford
and
freed it.
when it first appeared, it was invisible.
Yeah.
Not the best print. It's broke.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sweet.
It's kind of jacked up, but it'll work.
You have another one?
Do it. I only have the one.
Well, I'll make a... Do we have the clay ready? Okay, go ahead.
No, I should have started it. I could only print one at a time, so I should have been in there, but we got busy with lunch.
Okay. March 24th, 1877. Alan intends to leave Arkham and travel to find a solution to this crisis. He said that he intends to seek out occult scholars in New Orleans. I pray he is successful, but my hopes are not high at this point. He insisted that I be custodian to the gold sarcophagus and not show it to anyone. What's even more odd is he instructed me not to even visit or live in Boston. I can only guess as to why. As he will not tell me his reasoning apart from the insistence that it is for my own safety. Marion still thinks that the thing could yet be destroyed or at least dispelled, but none of us who remain have the stomach for such an undertaking. I hope you can find a way to safely banish it without another of us falling to its malevolent grip. March 26th, 1877. We now believe that the spell we cast to summon an inextricably bound thing to the house. Alan went back this morning to retrieve some of our belongings and store our vital accoutrements. He says that he heard bumping around in the attic over his head, cursing him all the while. He also said that it told him that it only has to wait us out. When we who are present are all dead, it will roam the earth freely, slaughtering and feasting. Thankfully, the warding signs carved by Alan during better times, times that seem so long ago, apparently are effective and bar the thing entry except into the attic of the farmhouse. I might be able to sleep for a few hours tonight, knowing it is bound to the attic and cannot harm anyone else. I am hopeful for the first time since we stupidly released it from the amber. If I told him the truth, then we have time to seek an answer. God be with you in your search, my friend. October 14th, 1877. I just discovered that Marion Allen is dead, and has been dead for some months now. He was murdered in New Orleans this past August. I suspect they spoke to the wrong sort of people about things he had seen, and they killed him. The newspaper mentions the sarcophagus to the may have been after the gold. That is 3 of us gone now. I must do something. I've already begun ancient history classes at the university, and I believe I will try and research the problem at the farmhouse in that manner. Perhaps I will uncover an ancient secret of how to rid our world of that beast in my own way. And then there's an attached newspaper that says August 14th, 1877, brutal murder at the docks, New Orleans. The body of Mr. Marion Allen, late of Arkham, Massachusetts, was discovered early this morning near the Gulf and Panama docks. A victim of foul play, the man was identified by a local witness who said that Mr. Allen had been seen in the locale the evening before. Although robbery was the apparent motive, police report that the victim had gruesome marks carved into his forehead and his tongue had been cut out. Mr. Allen had reportedly gone to the police earlier this week claiming that he's being followed and they feared for his life. He said Chadwick's pursuers were after an Egyptian artifact which he no longer possessed.
So you all are looking over these documents in the car in the rain?
Yes.
At night?
And then I believe there's a list of the people that were there and when they died on the bottom of it. Rupert Mencken died March 1877. Harold Copley, August 1877. Marion Allen, August 1877. Crawford Harris, January 1910. Cecil Jones, March 1919. And then Rupert Merriweather does not have a date next to his name, but he is now dead.
So that was the list of people that performed the summoning. All gone now.
They're all dead.
So the spell is broken and is free.
It's clear to you that, according to the documents, Marion Allen had done things to bind the thing to the house in ways. There are supposedly some documents and stuff there that it says that their stuff is at the house, and they didn't have the guts to go back and get it. You could go to the house, or you could try to find out more. But
didn't it state in there that he was doing research on a way to try to rid it of the world, from the world, to kill it? So maybe if we went to where my uncle taught, we might be able to find his notes, and maybe there's some information there on how to kill it.
But if this jinn is this a jinn or a lurker, or are they both the same thing? He called it a lurker, but in the documents they refer to it as a jinn.
Do I know history on what a jinn is?
yeah, it's. I think in the documents they hoped it was a jinn, and then it ended up like
being a lurker. So they had thought it was a jinn, but it wasn't a jinn.
Yeah, or it is, and they didn't really realize what jinns actually do.
Yeah. But if that was trapped in the attic, then that couldn't have been what killed him. If he was trapped in the attic, unless it had some way of affecting him in the hospital.
When you went,
He hadn't gone back.
yeah, when you went to get that, when you went to pick up the car, he had mentioned something like we thought it might have been the creature that they summoned that killed him in the hospital. Because when he was originally summoned, he did appear invisible So we wouldn't have seen him even standing there in the room. But if he's trapped in the house, then that kind of defeats that theory.
Yeah, unless there's
more than one thing.
Yeah, because it also in the I remember in the letter it said abominations as in multiple of something. So there might have even been something else that came through whatever they.
It could. And didn't he say that he was one of them was murdered? Tongue had been ripped out.
Yeah, he was murdered in New Orleans. His tongue,
So there could
strange
be
markings carved in his head, and his tongue had been ripped out.
there could be a group of people, or perhaps another monster, an abomination that's wanting these people, it's killing these people off to free the lurker.
You know, there's a lot of crazies in the world today. There could be somebody worshiping the thing.
As you guys are discussing this, Floyd, you notice in the dark and the rain, you see two figures that seem to be standing and facing toward you all, about 40, 60 feet away down the street.
Are they just like shadowy figures, or can we make out details on them?
They are, it is dark and unlit where they are. They're facing toward you.
I know it's not me, but I mean, would it be in front of the car or behind the car?
You guys have parked on a street near the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see them like out the window and then kind of like back and left from where you're sitting.
It would be foolish to hope that it's nothing. Considering that Alan, I believe, thought that had went to the police claiming he's being followed by shadowy figures. Said shadowy figures are currently standing outside down the street.
I turn and I look to see him. Do I see him as well?
You do not.
What are you talking about?
There were shadowy figures there. I saw them.
Would I see
Do
him?
you see him now?
Do you look behind? Where do you point back there, or what do you?
Do I look back where I see? I look back where I see them. Are they gone?
Yes.
I don't see them anymore. But there were people standing back there. Or there was something. There's two of them. Two
Perhaps
shadowy
we
figures.
need to get to a better location. Why don't you go ahead and fire up and let's just move away from this place.
Okay. Crank. Well, it should still be running from where I picked him up. Well, you know where your uncle was working?
That's a good place to start. Let's go to the university.
So we'll head in that direction. Go ahead and get your sidearms ready in case any shadowy figures decide to follow us.
Your uncle Rupert works at the Miskatonic University, which is down the street, actually. He specifically worked near the famous Ornay Library, which is like one of the largest in the country. When you get there, you realize that it's just shy of 8 p.m. Eastern Seaboard time. And so probably no one would be in to let you in.
That's
fine. Right. All right. You find a place to park the Studebaker. And
You can pull it around back where it wouldn't be visible from the street. We'll do that depending on the layout of the building and the parking lot.
Are there any lights around back, or do you know?
We're gonna need. We could find somewhere. If we could find somewhere we're not visible from the road, but we can stay or a street lamp around the backside, if that's possible. I don't know how the building versus.
Yeah, now tell me what your intentions are. What you all want to try.
And I'm keeping an eye out for these shadowy figures.
Okay.
Like I am definitely eyes are
I
peeled.
want to park in such a way that the back of the vehicle is as close to the building as possible, and if it's possible, to be in a lit area. That way we can see immediately around the vehicle, but we would still be able to see any mysterious or suspicious figures in the distance.
Okay, so it's an unassuming location, but it gives you a good enough field of view if you have anybody come up on a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be in the back still.
For our weapons, would we have our weapons with us? I assume we got them.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't want us to run into a problem. You're like, oh, well, you never got them. I wanted to make sure that.
You do not have your armor on.
I know I do not have my armor on, no. And I'm not going to put it on. Not yet.
Well, I
So,
mentioned getting your
I'm
sidearms.
assuming
Yeah.
you have your sidearms.
Yes.
At the very
Because
least.
it's not 2021, so if you're a gangster or a PI, you can walk around the hospital with a gun on you. inside of the jacket. It happens.
I'm assuming I just stash my submachine gun and my shotgun in like the trunk of the Studebaker.
Okay.
Or whatever.
So you guys are
Understand,
going to
but-
bring the heavy stuff.
I was. That's why I was asking if I had it.
You want to bring it out of the
Yes. So
Studebaker?
let's just play it. I get out. We park. Get out of the car. Put my revolver in the thing, and I walk around in the trunk, pop it up, pull out my Tommy gun, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of trouble tonight. Hopefully, we're just here for information.
You
but
would
there's
roll for read a bad situation.
Okay.
You would roll for help out.
The dice go.
And you would roll for act under pressure. You guys are working on
read a bad short.
You're trying to figure out if these people are rolling.
I like that roll.
9.
A 9.
Better than last time.
Well, that you got to have a. Oh wait, here it is. 7.
Did you say help out?
Yeah, you would be helping out because you're trying to help figure out like where to park the car, what you see around you, and he's driving, and you guys are trying to find the best place to not get caught, but see what's going on and all that stuff. So we're going to see how that goes, but I'll start with Mason. You guys go ahead and hold your rolls. Mason, you got a.
9.
I'm sorry, a 12.
Hey, you succeeded.
Didn't fail this time.
Well, you're leveling up quickly. Things that don't really matter. So
Yeah.
it's better than leveling up on something that's going to shoot you in the face.
True. I did run screaming down the hallway, spewing blood everywhere. Terrorize some poor nurses.
You can determine something about this situation, and it may not be related to that, but let me make sure I understand. You're keeping your eye out. You're watching for if these guys are following, and you're looking for any kind of sign of that, right? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
All right. So under read about a situation, you get to choose one of the following. What's the best way in? What's my best way out? And I may make this related to them, or I might make it related to something else. Are there any dangers you don't notice? What's the biggest threat? What's most vulnerable to me, to you? And what's the best way to protect people? And I would say in this case, that's going to be your friends.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Okay. Yes.
I'm assuming I don't see those dangers.
There are night guards here, and you notice one. And it's just a young man, and he's probably not got a pistol, but he would probably be carrying a whistle, and they would probably alert police if they find people walking in the back entrance with a gun. You realize that you probably need to find something that's going to lower the heat and give you a cover on why you're in there. And the Tommy
We
gun's
didn't
not
say we
good.
were actually going in right now, though, did we?
No, yeah.
No.
Oh,
but
did we?
Yeah, no, we got a situation on our hands that we got to handle. So we're going to find information on how to kill this thing, and we're going to go kill it.
I quickly point out the night guards to both of you.
No, I did not notice that. As I'm holding a Tommy gun.
I will stay my hand from picking up my full
Yeah, you
automatic.
were right beside me. Well, shit. I set it back down in the trunk.
Well,
Would we have trench coats? I know that there was some kind of sling that sometimes you could hide
Trench coat, sure.
hide the rifles in behind. Would I have something like that where I could have my Tommy gun where it was...
Not a Tommy gun, not a Thompson with a drum or a shotgun.
I was going to say,
need
if
a
you're
dr-
hiding a Tommy gun, you'd have to have a straight magazine, which would be enormous.
You really can't conceal a Thompson or no.
Okay.
so I would say I
You
do
have a shotgun though, right?
He does.
I have a shotgun and a Tommy.
But it's also a long...
yeah, it's not a sawed off.
Ah.
Sorry, Floyd, what were you saying?
Could I as the professional, I can have cover identities. Could I use those cover identities to say we're either federal police or police of some sort, or for a reason to enter?
Hatch a plan. You've got fake documents and fake badges, and
Yeah.
you can go
Yeah.
ahead and hatch a plan.
I can manipulate him. I'm a grifter.
Well, go ahead. What's your
But,
plan for that enemies?
Well, we could go to the night guard, show our fake identities, and be like, we need to get in here. Someone's in immediate danger. There's a plot. There's something going on. We need immediate access to the building, and try and convince this young guard to let us in.
Yeah, we could use Dr. Rupert's dead. We need to go in and
Collect his
investigate
personal
and
effects.
collect their evidence of the sort. And you have a badge? No? Yes?
Yes.
You got fake badges.
Yeah, I got fake badges and everything. I'm not
Okay.
sure if I have like a legitimate because I'm not an actual police officer. I don't
You
think I
got
have.
this whole fake identity.
Yeah, I have all these fake identities. It's like I opened up like a little box in the trunk, and there's like 15 different fake identities in there.
Man of many talents, I see.
Cool.
All right. Lead the way.
Alright, I give all of them a fake identity, and then I start. Actually, they had rolls they need to resolve, didn't they? No? Okay.
Yeah, we roll.
Yeah, they rolled for
Oh,
something.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
were
kinda-
part of the car. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes. Y'all help me out, please. If keep your finger on it and be like in waiting, because this is going to be the whole game. Is we're going to kind of pan the camera. That's how it works. Okay. So the first one though is help out. Like, what did you get?
8.
Okay, an 8. You you realize what's going on. Let me think how. It takes a lot of creativity. But as you're like panning around and trying to figure out, looking around and trying to figure this out, you end up ripping your coat. You get a rip on your coat across this whole way. It's clear that there's a rip in your coat. But you do identify an area on the back side of the building. It's obvious now, anyone that looks at you, that there's this rip on your coat. If you don't have the coat, you're going to be in the rain without a coat. You get drenched.
Where did this rip come from? Did I catch it on something? Or
Yeah,
is
on the
it
car. His Studebaker's not the best. It's not the most tidy in the back. And it's, like how things used to be built. I mean, it's not exactly ergonomic.
No, I'll wear. I mean, I'm not going to take my coat off because I ripped it. So it's
Okay.
raining out. You said so.
Right. So you do find an area in the back of the building, though, that you're like, okay, that area in the back, that would be good.
Okay, so we parked the car.
No, you haven't parked the car yet.
Oh.
You just find that area. He's
Oh.
driving.
Let's. What do you think over there? It seems like a pretty good spot to park. Got well lit, close to the building,
Okay.
kind of away from the road. We can't be seen as easily.
So I'll do like I said before and try to swing it so that I can back the back of the vehicle close to the building, but still have room to get in and out of the
All right.
storage.
You've got a +1 forward from him finding that, and you got act under pressure.
I rolled a 12 on act under pressure,
Wow.
so that would be 13 with my bonus, and then if that ongoing applies to it, then that would be 14.
Okay. So you can either
Cloak.
actually, let me make sure.
It was ongoing to what? Or just in general?
It's not, because it just says to a roll. So, but you can either choose to park the car in an area that's unassuming but lit, and you can see the area around. And you can do that perfectly with no complications. It's going to work perfectly. Or you can park and get something extra out of it that might help your ingress or egress.
I like the something extra.
All right. Cool. So you not only park the car and find an area that's lit and everything, but you see some things nearby that you think you could probably use if it came right down to it. If you got into a chase, you could probably toss all of the nearby waste bins. There are large ones, and you can create a ruckus. You could block the parking nearby, or you could delay a chase if you had to, and you notice that on the way in.
Man, that sounds exactly like something a bootlegger would look for when
Yeah.
he comes into a parking lot.
Okay, now you've got the car parked.
We do the whole
Yeah, I
fake
point out-
IDs, put the gun back in the thing, and
Yeah, you could easily have the pistol, but I don't think we should be bringing Tommies or shotguns and when we're just investigating some.
When you see what we'll be dealing with later, you're gonna want those.
Yeah, I hope we don't meet whatever that was or whatever those figures were in here.
That's what I'm worried about. You said there was figures. Hopefully, it was just your mind playing with you after what you saw back in the hospital.
I hope so, but you can never be too careful, especially with whatever they were talking about in those letters.
I agree.
So what are you gonna go try to talk to the night guard?
Yeah, I'm gonna go introduce myself. Show my fake ID, fake badge, and be like, these are my associates. There's been a murder, and we need access to this building to collect some effects and for investigative purposes.
He's wearing a poncho and has a flashlight. And he looks over and he's like, he's only 19. He's like, okay, mister. Gosh, that's a terrible thing. Dr. Rupert was a real nice man. The only thing is, I can let you in, mister. But when you get in there, you should know that the area that Dr. Rupert works in is kind of locked up. And I don't have the keys to that. They don't let many people in there.
Do you know who would have the keys to it?
Well, sure, mister. Well, Dr. Rupert would. And then, let's see, who else? Dr.
19.
That's what I was saying. Is there keys in the box?
I wonder if we keep the stuff.
What about in the envelope?
Was there a key in the envelope?
And then Dr. Rice, and then there's a Dr. and then there's a.
I imagine that kind of happened in character. Don't checking the letter.
It was locked up, and hey, look what I got.
Don't worry
here.
about it, son. We'll find our way in.
There's Dr. Rice, Dr. Armitage, and Dr. Rupert. They're the only ones with access to that area. But I can let you in the building, mister, and you guys are walking toward the entrance, and there's this imperial-style black iron gate, and he opens it.
Go ahead.
And in the rain, it's just... And then the iron gate just swings open on both ends, and there's a flash of lightning. It looks like the storm's picking up. And then you have...
There's no shadows and lightning?
You do not see any shadows.
Okay. I'll keep my eyes peeled for these things. I think that they ripped out tongues from people, and I deal with that.
You see the famous Ornay Library. It's a large two-story structure made in an old Roman style, with columns and pillars, and quite imposing. You all step up to the front entrance, and he jingles his keys out. He opens that and opens the front entrance. It opens in double grand doors into a dark area, and he's like, all right, if you're trying to find the part of the Ornay that these professors work in, it's going to be on the second floor in the west wing.
Thank you.
Thank you, son. May I suggest that there might be danger tonight? You might want to take the evening off.
Oh.
These killers are still out there, and they're thinking that they're...
Should I go get more police?
I think we got it covered.
All the police are coming? Okay, yeah, no, I don't want to be here, mister. I'll go hang it up for the night then.
I think that'd be best. I know your boss won't mind, Dr. Rupert, with the whole situation. We are the police, right? That's what we told him. So take the evening off. We'll make sure that we leave an officer here to guard the building for you. We just don't want any harm to come your way.
Okay, mister. Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks a lot. He goes back out into the rain, and you see him trot off into the dark and close the gates behind him but not lock it on you.
We're gonna find his body later.
And
hey, Arthur, how well did you know your uncle's colleagues, Armitage and Rice?
I don't think I would know them at all, right?
You have never met them now.
No, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting either one.
Okay.
He said second floor west wing.
Second floor, west wing.
That's where we go.
You have to go up a set of grand stairs, and they loop back going the other way to the second floor. It's very well decorated. The donors and patrons that help fund this place went all out. And it's a very well established and old library in the New England area. And as you go up these marble staircases and it loop back, it goes into various halls separated by columns, and they're like multiple different halls. The west wing would be down to the left from where you went. So you've got like 3 or 4 different hallways there. And they're dark. They are labeled. You have the humanities on the west wing. You've got cultural studies and foreign studies. And, that it's like you...
Is there any light switches I can turn the lights on?
They...
or is this like gas lamps?
They would have had electricity. I think you would have to go turn a power box on.
Okay.
So it would turn the whole place on.
Which might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Tell you what, since we managed to send the one guard home, I'm gonna head back out to the car, grab a Tommy gun and my rifle. That way we got a little extra firepower. You want your shotgun too?
Yeah, I'm gonna take my shot.
I would just go out there together.
Yeah.
Find the
Stick
power
together.
box.
Find the
Agreed.
power box.
We don't know
the
what
power
kind
box
of
on the
figures
outside?
are after us tonight.
They'd be like in a boiler room. You'd have to go downstairs in the library to the boiler
Let's go
room.
grab our side pieces
Yeah.
first. So we're gonna head back outside, grab our guns, and then let's go look for that boiler room.
Are we keeping track of ammo? Or anything like that? No.
Not
So
ammo.
I just assume that I have 100 unlimited rounds of shotgun ammo.
Basically, the dice tell us. The dice tell us what happens on that.
Yes.
Okay. You go outside and get your weapons. You come back, and then you go back into the back office using. You're able to lockpick your way in without any trouble.
We are trying to stay quiet and stealthy with the car. If we turn all the lights on in the building,
It
But
will be
it might-
obvious from the outside that the building is lit if you do that.
so we gotta think of that. It might be helpful, but it also could be hindering.
You have flashlights. Too.
Oh, okay. Then I would say we should probably just use flashlights.
Use
then.
flashlights.
Yeah, 'cause
Try not to aim them at the windows because
Yeah.
that would be the same effect.
So let's be quick. Let's find our information and let's get out of here.
Yeah. Before the guard asks too many questions to the police.
You two can make a help out roll.
6.
6. Okay.
4.
4. Okay.
This would be mark experience.
You guys are you're rushing because you know that you need to try to get this done quickly. Probably before everyone's nerves and whoever's following you catches up. And so you make quite a bit of noise. At different points, someone almost slips on the marble floors. But you make it back up to the second floor in the west wing. You see those different hallways, and then you see a hallway that says like archaeology and history.
That's where
Is
you
it
work,
towards
isn't
the
it?
west? Or?
Let's go there. Did we bring the box with us, or did we?
You have the box.
I would imagine you put it in your coat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go check that out. Perhaps. Wait. He said they don't know where the other 3 of these are. Right?
Right, and from the description in the thing,
When
when
the ones they had melted away.
yeah,
So that might be one of the other ones.
they may have accidentally summoned 2 more. If there was 4 to start with and 3 are missing, the letter described 1 as melting away when they summoned the thing. They may have accidentally summoned 3.
And that's how the guy in New Orleans was killed, and how they killed Rupert.
So just because one's trapped in the house, there
There
could be 2 more.
And we did
And
see
the one
2,
that's trapped in the house is supposedly going to be free now.
Yeah, and we did see 2 shadowy
I don't know how long
figures.
it'll take before it realizes that it can leave. That's why we need to be quick tonight. But
All right. What was the original question?
I think it was.
How many of
we
those
knew,
Because
What if we knew where they said the other 3, which were what we were talking
Okay.
about? Because we have one
One was melted.
One
which
was
leaves
melted and two are
unaccounted for.
missing. Yeah.
Okay.
So somehow they found another one that's not in the letters.
And see, he had possession of this because this was in the box.
Yes.
He's had this for years. So
Maybe that's
let's go
how they
down.
intend to
just,
retrap it.
we're just speculating at this point. So.
Yeah. So let's go to the archaeology.
As we're walking, I assume he would be doing the same thing because he's the one that saw the spooky figures. But I would be kind of looking back every so often to see if someone's following us.
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye out because I saw these things and they kind of spooked him. Like they definitely spooked him. Because
I think my character still thinks that you're seeing shadows, and that you just freaked out because you got vomited on.
You guys can mark experience, by the way. Forgot about that.
For the fail, we did it.
Okay. You can read a bad situation.
Okay. Bad situation. That's 9 total.
I think that there's something after us, but I think it's the monster.
Well, I'm assuming it's a monster as well.
Read a bad situations options.
Yeah, like I would say.
But then he mentioned the cult and the runes that were written on the dude's head, which makes me think that
I wonder what those runes are. I mean, I failed that roll, which kind of annoys me. But
I messed up. You were supposed to get a +1 related to what you found out. So, but it didn't come into play. But
Okay.
I'm going to remember that now. I'll try to.
okay, because
well, we'll probably find something in his research about this.
yeah, I'm hoping that we'll find letters or
Considering
notes.
that what we're doing is keeping an eye out for threats or anything dangerous, then I guess I'd go with, are there any dangers that we haven't noticed?